It's the 5th of March 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight for the Newsfirst team, I am Jayamal Ratnayaka.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
Formulate strict laws to curb irregularities at the customs. President advises. Desi Forest Vikramasinghe, who was arrested by the CID under money laundering charges, released on bail. Suspected assassin in the mid-Denia triple murder, arrested. Motorcycle also discovered. Return to Parliament. GMOA invites Ranil. Health Trade Union Alliance decides to postpone trade union action scheduled for tomorrow, the 6th of March. SJB MP Dilip Vedarachi among those who obtained the fuel allowance for fishing communities, Deputy Minister of Fisheries reveals in Parliament. In a top story for tonight, court has ordered the release of Desi Forest Vikramasinghe, who was arrested under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act on 3 sureties of 5 million rupees each. This decision follows the arrest of the suspect by the Criminal Investigation Department and her subsequent appearance before Kaduvela Magistrate Chanima Vijay Bandara. Case file. Desi Forest Vikramasinghe was arrested for allegedly maintaining a partnership account worth nearly 59 million rupees, the source of which has not been disclosed. The arrest is part of the ongoing money laundering investigation into Carlton Sports Network Private Limited. An investigation was launched by the CID in 2016 under money laundering allegations against Carlton Sports Network Private Limited, a company formerly chaired by Yoshitha Rajapaksa, the son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. During the investigation, details of a bank account were uncovered, revealing that the account had been maintained as a joint account with Yoshitha Rajapaksa. The account was reportedly managed by his grandmother, Desi Forest Vikramasinghe. In connection with this, 97-year-old Desi Forest Vikramasinghe was summoned to the CID earlier today to provide a statement. Desi Forest Vikramasinghe was arrested after providing her statement and later presented before the Kaduvela Magistrates Court this afternoon. Presenting facts before Kaduvela Magistrate Chanima Vijay Bandara, officers of the FCID of the CID revealed that the suspect was arrested in connection with maintaining a joint account involving nearly 59 million rupees in undisclosed assets. Investigating officers informed the court that charges have been filed against Desi Forest Vikramasinghe under Section 3(1) of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. President's Counsel Sampath Mendis, appearing on behalf of the suspect, inquired whether the CID opposed granting bail to the suspect in open court. In response, CID investigation officers said that they had no objection to bail. Following this, President's Counsel Sampath Mendis, who had presented arguments on behalf of the suspect, made the following remarks. Quote, facts on this case were reported first in April 2015. The investigative case file was submitted to the Attorney General for legal advice in 2017. My client gave her initial statement regarding the investigation 10 years ago. She is now a 97-year-old elderly woman. Her memory is severely impaired. She can only recall her own name and struggles to remember anything else. She likely wouldn't even recall what she had for breakfast this morning. It is under these circumstances that my client is being questioned about a financial transaction that occurred in 2013. End quote. Based on these facts, the counsel requested the court to release his client on bail. After considering the facts, the magistrate ordered the release of the suspect on 3 surety bonds of 5 million rupees each. The magistrate stipulated that the bail guarantors must be close relatives. The case is scheduled to be recalled on the 3rd of July. Former Member of Parliament, Attorney at Law, Premanatsi Dolevatta said that the government is carrying out acts of revenge based on political agendas. It is very clear to us that a situation is being created where certain political desires and agendas are being fulfilled through the judiciary. As we can see, political agendas and acts of revenge are continuously being carried out by this government through the police. That's why the case has been diverted to another direction after many years.
Batiklo district parliamentarian from the Lanka Tamil Arusaka Sri Shanakin Rasamanikam made a revelation in Parliament today.
ගරු ආරක්ෂක නියෝජ්‍ය ඇමතුමතුමනි ඔබතුමා දන්නවද
Deputy Minister of Defence, are you aware that 2 days before the court issued the order to arrest Deshabandhu Tennakoon, a meeting took place at the business centre of a powerful former minister from the previous government? Among those in attendance were Director of Military Intelligence, former DMI Chula Kodituaku and former ASP of the Colombo Crime Division, Neville. Additionally, Pillayan was invited to this discussion. However, as Pillayan could not attend, he sent his associate, Inia Bharati, to Colombo. Inia Bharati stayed at the Hilton Hotel in Colombo, where a person named Sudha drove him in his vehicle. This raises serious concerns. Inia Bharati is known to be involved in numerous murders in recent times, and there is much information about his activities. You claim to have ensured national security, yet you have not been able to locate the woman responsible for the Gane Mulla Sanjeeva shooting or even find the IGP Deshabandhu Tennakoon. Can you take responsibility for these matters? There is a grave security issue in the country, and I am left wondering what kind of conspiracy may be unfolding. If all these individuals are connected to this plot, I am deeply concerned about what is happening.
මේකේ මිලිටරි ඉන්ටෙලිජන්ස් මේගොල්ලෝ ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා කරනවා නම් මේ ප්ලොට් එකක් මොකක්ද දන්නේ මේක කරේ
A group of prominent professionals in Sri Lanka has issued a letter urging the government to take immediate action in response to a series of recent killings which have raised serious concerns about the country's law and order situation. The letter, signed by legal experts, human rights advocates and academics, calls for swift accountability and transparency in dealing with the rising violence. The letter, which was released under the banner of Justice for All, highlighted that the month of February alone witnessed a shocking wave of killings. It read, quote, "These and other killings raise multiple questions on the role and responsibility of state entities such as the police and prison authorities who have failed in their duty of providing protection to those in their custody and for maintaining law and order in the country." Unquote. The letter stresses that deteriorating law and order situation in the country, a condition which is becoming exposed in the context of political change in Sri Lanka. The Justice for All said it is incumbent on all of us to be vigilant and condemn abuse of state power by sections of the law enforcement agencies and demand for swift action and accountability. It added that the government bears the responsibility of taking prompt action against those involved, especially the individuals exercising state power and are linked to these instances of violence. The letter calls on the government to strengthen and build accountable independent processes and institutions that secure law and order and consequently justice and the rule of law in the country. A group of professionals including Professor Jayadeva Uyangoda, President's Counsel Salia Piris and M.A. Sumandiran have signed the letter.
The Government Medical Officers Association has urged former President Ranil Wickremesinghe to represent Parliament, citing his experience as a leader. The United National Party Media Division said the GMOA met with former President Ranil Wickremesinghe today at his office on Flower Road in Colombo.
A group of senior GMOA officials led by President Dr. Sanjeeva Tennakoon met with former President Ranil Wickremesinghe to discuss issues faced by government doctors. The United National Party Media Division said that Ranil Wickremesinghe was joined by former Minister Vajrabewardena and S. Samarathunga during the meeting. This is an excerpt from the UNP Media Division statement. Quote, "Following the meeting, the GMOA addressed Ranil Wickremesinghe saying it would be beneficial for an experienced leader like you to represent Parliament at this time. In response, Ranil Wickremesinghe replied, "I am currently enjoying my retirement, but I am ready to offer any support you need." At this point, UNP Chairman Vajrabewardena remarked, "Let's encourage him to work for the country." End quote. In addition to meeting Ranil Wickremesinghe, the GMOA also met with MP Dilip Javira recently, as well as with the opposition leader Sajid Premadasa. The GMOA convened an emergency executive committee meeting where they decided to hold a strike today. The decision came after the new salary revision, which reduced the extra duty allowance. However, in Parliament yesterday, the Minister of Health clarified the situation, providing detailed information about the doctors' salaries and allowances. The minister also explained that the extra duty and holiday allowance would increase. Following the clarification, the GMOA, which met with the minister yesterday, announced that they would postpone the planned strike until the 21st of March. This morning, the GMOA met with Samagijana Balavege MP Dr. Harsha De Silva to discuss the matter further.
මෙතනදී ආණ්ඩුව පැත්තෙන් තියෙන ගැටලුව අපිට තේරෙනවා. මුදල්
I understand the government's situation regarding the financial constraints. We have presented our proposals to the government, suggesting a step-by-step implementation. The GMOA has been flexible, and we believe that the President will respond positively and fairly, considering the needs of doctors and the people of this country.
මේ රටේ වෛද්‍යවරු සහ ජනතාව ගැන හිතලා ආණ්ඩුව පාර්ශවයෙන් හැකි ඉක්මනින් ජනාධිපතිවරයාගේ පාර්ශවයෙන් ලැබෙයි කියලා.
The Health Trade Union Alliance has announced the postponement of the trade union action scheduled for tomorrow, rescheduling it to the 17th of March.
Representatives from several health organizations, including the Government Nursing Officers Association, the Family Health Workers Association, the Society of Radiographers, the Pharmacists Association, and the Health Professionals Association met with Ministry of Health officials today to discuss issues related to salaries, allowances, and promotions. During the meeting, the Ministry of Health engaged with officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Department of Public Management Services to address the concerns raised by the health professionals. The Health Trade Union Alliance explained that the decision to delay the trade union action was made due to the constructive responses received during the discussions.
We are prepared to present our issues to the Ministry of Finance. However, if a resolution is not reached there, we will resume the suspended strike on the 17th at 7:30 a.m. The Minister of Health proposed a positive resolution for the promotion issue. Additionally, regarding overtime and government holiday allowances, the Minister promised to discuss the matter with the President and the Treasury and to present an amendment budget proposal when the budget is approved during the President's speech.
Minister of Health Dr. Narendra Jayatissa spoke in Parliament today about the salaries and allowances proposed by the government for health professionals against a backdrop where related trade unions are gearing up for a trade union action.
ඒ අයට දැනෙන මූලික වටිනාකමක් ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. මූලික වටිනාකම කොච්චරද කියනවා නම් grade 3 වලින්
We have proposed a significant hike in their basic salaries. To sum up the extent of the hike, a grade 3 official will receive a salary hike of 22,000 rupees, while a grade 1 official has received an increment of 43,320 rupees. That is only the first part, the basic salary hike. We have also increased their overtime pay per hour. Currently, a grade 3 official receives 210 rupees per hour of OT. That has been increased by 75 rupees to 285 rupees. Someone in grade 2 is receiving 250 rupees per hour currently. It has been hiked by 90 rupees to 340 rupees. A grade 1 official receives 300 rupees. It has been increased to 415 rupees, a hike of 115 rupees. Someone in supra grade receives 345 rupees an hour. It has been increased by 150 rupees to 495 rupees. Anyone in the special grade who receives 390 rupees per hour will receive 540 rupees, an increase of 150 rupees. Their OT per hour has been increased from April. Their holiday allowances have also been increased. Someone in grade 3 who received 1,604 rupees will be given 1,804 rupees, an increase of 200 rupees in their PH allowance. Grade 2 receives 1,850 rupees. It has been hiked to 2,110 rupees, which is an increase of 251 rupees. Someone in grade 1 receives 2,226 rupees. With the new holiday allowance, it will increase to 2,551 rupees, which is an increase of 325 rupees. A supra-grade employee receives 2,629 rupees currently as PH allowance. It has been increased to 3,037 rupees, an increase of 408 rupees. PH allowances have also been increased. Annual salary increments have been increased by 80%. Based on the amendments we will make to the payee tax, no one in grade 3 or 2 will have to pay that tax, as they will be exempt from taxes completely. When considering the supplementary health officials, we have hiked their basic salaries, OT, PH allowance, annual increment, and given them a tax exemption. That is a strong package for them to bear the weight of economic conditions. I wish to state to everyone, if there are certain trade union leaders and others attempting to distort these facts and create turmoil, do not be duped by those. Your service is essential. So, report for duty as usual tomorrow. Do not strike.
ඔබේ සේවය අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ඒ නිසා සාමාන්‍ය පරිදි හෙට දිනේ වැඩ රාජකාරියට වාර්තා කරන්න, වැඩ වර්ජනයක් කරන්න එපා.
A suspect has been arrested in connection with the tragic triple homicide in Midenia. Police said that the 42-year-old man was arrested while he was in hiding.
Police said that the motorcycle used by the suspect to flee the scene was found abandoned in a quarry in Midenia. The vehicle was recovered with the help of divers. The shooting took place on the 18th of February in the Thorakolea area of Midenia, resulting in the deaths of Arun Vidanagamage, known as Megasare Kadja, and his two children, a 6-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son. The family was travelling on a motorcycle at the time of the attack.
President Kumara Dissanayaka has announced that structural reforms are being implemented within the Sri Lanka Customs to establish a corporate structure that aligns with the needs of the modern era. The President expressed these views during a meeting held today at the President's office with senior officials from Sri Lanka Customs.
The meeting between the President and officials from the Sri Lanka Customs at the President's office addressed existing issues such as inefficiencies, fraud, corruption and public dissatisfaction within the customs. As part of the solutions, attention was drawn to plans for improving services by integrating new technologies to streamline operations. According to the President's media division, new restructuring plans were also discussed in detail. President Kumara Dissanayaka has directed officials to enforce stricter laws to eliminate irregularities within the customs. The President emphasized the need to expedite human resource management processes, including recruitment and infrastructure development. Meanwhile, President Kumara Dissanayaka outlined his vision for transforming Sri Lanka into an attractive tourist destination through thoughtful urban planning that goes beyond conventional construction. This was during a meeting with officials from the National Physical Planning Department at the President's office. The President instructed officials to develop urban planning strategies that reflect the unique identity of Sri Lanka. The meeting also focused on the government's initiative to develop not only urban areas but also rural areas, with the goal of boosting the economy through a focus on rural development. The President stressed the importance of preserving rural culture and the identity of rural life in the process.
The local government election Sri Lanka 2025.
The Election Commission has announced that 3 recognized political parties have so far deposited bonds for the upcoming local government elections. 19 independent groups have also deposited bonds.
Bonds have been deposited for the districts of Kandy, Colombo, Gampaha, Ratnapura and Ampara. The acceptance of bonds for the local government elections began on Monday and will continue until the 19th of March. However, the Election Commission has specified that no bonds will be accepted on the 8th, 9th, 13th, 15th and 16th of March. Nominations for the elections will be accepted starting the 17th of March. The National Election Commission has announced that the deadline for accepting applications for postal voting in the local government elections will be at midnight on the 12th of March. The Commission has requested the properly completed applications be submitted to the district election officers by this date. The statement also emphasized that the deadline for postal voting applications will not be extended under any circumstances. Postal voting application forms can be obtained from the official website of the Election Commission. Interviews for selecting candidates of the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna for the upcoming local government elections were held in Kandy today.
මේකෙන් පේනවා පැහැදිලිව අද උනන්දුවක් තියෙනවා ඔහොට්ටුවේ අපේක්ෂාත්වය ලබා ගන්න විශාල උනන්දුවක් තියෙනවා යුද්ධ නතර කරේ අනුකුමාර දිසානායක.
The war was not ended by Kumara Dissanayaka, Ranil Wickremesinghe, Sajith Premadasa or Harini. It was Mahinda Rajapaksa who ended the war. The country was developed under his leadership. Our leaders have taught us to stand strong after every defeat, and we will demonstrate this in the local government elections.
පළාත් පාලන ඡන්දදී අපි ලබා දෙනවා.
රටට වැඩ කරන අනාගත බලාපොරොත්තුවක් හා මිනිස්සුන්ගේ මතයක් තියෙනවා. රටේ ජනතාවගේ මතයක් තියෙනවා. නැවත අපි බලයට පත් කර යුතුයි කියලා.
Samaki Jana Balavegia MP Ajit P. Pereira spoke about the lack of public trust in the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna.
නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාගේ දේශපාලනය පොහොට්ටු දේශපාලනය
Namal Rajapaksa's political influence and the Pohut tour has deteriorated because he is the heir to a political legacy that bankrupted, destroyed and devastated this country, humiliating it on the global stage. While we wish Namal Rajapaksa all the best in his efforts, there is no way he can stand before the people of this country and win an election. It is also clear that finding grassroots level candidates will be a challenge. Many who were once with him are now seeking independent groups or trying to join us. However, we do not accept just anyone.
How is the United National Party preparing for the local government elections? This is what MP Ravi Karnanayake had to say.
Yes, we need to be prepared. We must create a plan where we can all work together. If some people are unwilling to cooperate, then the majority of us who are willing should unite and move forward with a common opposition. What's happening within the United National Party is that those of us who were long-time members are being sidelined by a few who are not truly a part of this party. We need to address this issue and act quickly, as the actions of these 2 or 3 people are damaging the party.
දැන් තලදාතු කෝරණ මහලේකම්තුමිය අපි දැක්ක දාලා තියෙනවා දැන්වීමක් තරුණයන්ට ආරාධනා කරලා එන්න මේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයෙන් ඡන්දෙ ඉල්ලන්න කියලා. ඇවිල්ලාද දැන් කොහොමද තත්ත්වය දන්නවද? යම් විදිහක ඒක අහන්න ඕනේ.
You should direct that question to her. Unfortunately, due to the actions of those 2, we sometimes find ourselves excluded from important discussions.
සමහර තැන්වලට අපිව ගෙන්න ගන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් කොළඹ නගර සභාව අවුරුදු ගානක් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ තිබුණේ. දැන් මේ පාර මොකද වෙන්නේ? බයෙන් දෙපා අපි ඔක්කොම ඒකරා.
Don't worry, we will unite and work together. We will put aside those 2 or 3 people who are creating obstacles and we will collaborate to develop a winning plan. Our focus will be on achieving victory.
A discussion among the Politburo members of the Tamil Progressive Alliance took place in Colombo today.
We have decided to contest in the districts of Badulla, Nuwara, Kandy, Matale, Ratnapura, Kegol, Kaluthara, Colombo and Gampaha. Our official decision is to contest in over 35 local government bodies within these districts. We have already prepared more than 100 candidates, including several new faces and young men and women who are eager to participate in this election. We will be contesting under the Tamil Progressive Alliance symbol in these districts. In some areas, we are already in discussion with the Samaga Jana Balawegya, as we are a constituent party of this alliance.
The Elam People's Democratic Party said today at a media briefing in Jaffna that it is preparing to contest the upcoming local government elections independently.
With the local government elections approaching, we'd like to clarify that no political party has yet formally reached out to us for discussions. As a party, we've always presented our own vision and policies, and we have contested elections under our symbol, the Veena. For this reason, we are gearing up to contest the upcoming elections on our own. While some members of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna have approached us, we base our decisions on what the people want, as well as the specific conditions in each area. We have a strong presence in places like Putlam and Colombo, and we are carefully considering how best to move forward, taking into account the feedback and requests from the people there. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau slammed Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on Canada, calling it a quote-unquote very dumb thing to do, and vowed to conduct a relentless fight to protect its economy.
Trump has imposed 25% tariffs on products entering the US from Canada and Mexico, and has increased a levy on goods coming from China.
The Canadian Prime Minister announced retaliatory tariffs on US exports and warned that a trade war would be costly for both countries.
In a news conference during his final days in office, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that Canada would plaster retaliatory tariffs on more than $100 billion of American goods in response to Trump's 25% tariffs.
Canadians are reasonable and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. And now, to my fellow Canadians, I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will relentlessly fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day, because this country is worth fighting for.
U.S. President Donald Trump imposed tariffs against Washington's three biggest trading partners, drawing immediate retaliation from Mexico, Canada and China, and sending financial markets into a tailspin. Just after midnight, Trump put 25% taxes or tariffs on Mexican and Canadian imports, though he limited the levy to 10% on Canadian energy. Beijing also retaliated with tariffs of up to 15% on a wide array of U.S. farm exports. It also expanded the number of U.S. companies subject to export controls and other restrictions by about 24.
President Donald Trump declared the American dream is unstoppable as he addressed a raucous joint session of the U.S. Congress for the first time since he returned to power.
In the longest presidential speech to lawmakers on record, he outlined his vision for his second term as Republicans applauded a high-octane 6 weeks that has reshaped domestic and foreign policy.
We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back. Our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again.
Within the first 5 minutes of the address, Al Green of Texas was escorted out of the chamber by the sergeant-at-arms after refusing to comply with the House Speaker's demands that he stopped heckling the president and take his seat.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the sergeant-at-arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
Trump name-checked his billionaire advisor Elon Musk, who was watching from the gallery. The tech mogul's Department of Government Efficiency task force has moved to fire tens of thousands of federal workers, cut billions of dollars in foreign aid, and slash programs across the U.S. government.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but we'll be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it, perhaps, which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that.
Trump also spoke on investments flowing into the United States.
Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible...
It's fast.
The International Monetary Fund has said that Sri Lanka began payments on restructured debt with the China Development Bank.
A document from the International Monetary Fund has disclosed that Sri Lanka completed its debt treatment with the China Development Bank, or the CDB. The IMF said that the debt treatment is in alignment with program parameters and met the standards for comparability of treatment as assessed by the Official Creditor Committee. The document, released in line with a virtual press conference by Peter Brewer, the senior mission chief for Sri Lanka, yesterday, disclosed that the authorities started with technical exchanges with the CDB, including in person in Colombo in May 2023 and in Beijing in October 2023, to reconcile their DSA modeling and advance technical discussions. The authorities reached agreement on an agreement in principle with China Development Bank in November 2024, assessed by IMF staff as consistent with debt sustainability. The Official Creditor Committee assessed this agreement in principle as consistent with comparability of treatment. The document from the IMF showed that the authorities completed their debt treatment with CDB and started paying on restructured debt in December 2024. It added that Sri Lanka has reached a significant milestone in its efforts to restore debt sustainability with the successful completion of a bond exchange. It added that the authorities finalized the Euro bond exchange in December, achieving an impressive 98% participation rate. This success followed the activation of collection action
mechanisms in accordance with the Agreements in Principle or the AIPs established with the External Bondholder Committee and the Local Bondholder Consortium on the 18th of September. These agreements were evaluated by staff and deemed consistent with debt sustainability. Additionally, the Official Creditor Committee or the OCC confirmed that the agreements met the standards for comparability of treatment. Sri Lanka is set to establish a new tax crimes investigation or a TCI unit within the Inland Revenue Department. This initiative, disclosed in a report by the International Monetary Fund, is part of the country's broader efforts to enhance anti-corruption and governance reforms. The IMF report highlights Sri Lanka's commitment to updating and publishing an annual action plan focused on key areas such as strengthening the anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism or the AML-CFT regime, publishing asset declarations, enacting a comprehensive asset recovery law, and aligning the Companies Act with Financial Action Task Force standards. Additionally, anti-corruption measures in tax policy are being implemented.
Clifford Chance has committed to continuing its advisory role for the government of Sri Lanka through the final stages of its sovereign debt restructuring process. This comes after the successful completion of Sri Lanka's sovereign bond exchange offer.
Global law firm Clifford Chance, together with financial advisor Lazard, advised the government of Sri Lanka on the successful execution of its sovereign bond exchange offer, marking the end of a multi-year process for the country to restore debt sustainability following its moratorium in April 2022. Sri Lanka's sovereign bond exchange offer, the most complex in recent years, introduced a number of innovations to the sovereign debt restructuring architecture, including the issuance of macro-linked bonds and governance-linked bonds, with Clifford Chance advising on the legal structuring and drafting. Global law firm Clifford Chance said in a statement that the last step in the process, the final distribution of new bonds from the holding period arrangement, was successfully completed on the 27th of February 2025. In addition to advising on the bond exchange, Clifford Chance has also assisted Sri Lanka throughout the broader debt restructuring process, which included domestic debt restructuring, negotiations with official bilateral creditors like the Export-Import Bank of China, and the agreements with commercial creditors including China Development Bank. The statement added that Clifford Chance looks forward to advising Sri Lanka through the final stages of the debt restructuring process in 2025.
A workshop on maritime boundaries awareness was organized by the Japanese Embassy in Sri Lanka today.
The Japanese Embassy in Sri Lanka organized a workshop to raise awareness about maritime boundaries.
Coastal countries in the Indian Ocean share common challenges like maritime safety and illegal trafficking, making MDA a key priority for nations, including Sri Lanka. As regards MDA, Japan has developed a concept note in December 2023, which focuses on 3 key areas. First, information collection. Second, database creation and information sharing. And third, fostering international cooperation. The concept encourages the use of advanced technologies like AI and Japan's Maritime Information Database, we call it INSHIRI. Japan has also been providing various forms of NDA-related support to Sri Lanka through various channels.
The inaugural session was launched with the cooperation of the Sri Lanka Navy. The event was attended by geopolitical cartographers, officers of the UNODC, and other key stakeholders.
20 prosthetics beneficiaries departed the island this evening from the Palali airport in Jaffna to India for a prosthetic empowerment program, embarking on an Indo-Lanka prosthetic empowerment journey.
Indo-Lanka Collaboration Prosthetic Empowerment Journey, organized by the Center for Prosthetics together with Spark Minda Foundation in India, will be held in Chennai, India from the 5th of March till the 9th of March. It is funded by the Canada-Sri Lanka Business Convention and the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, along with the University of Jaffna and Associates.
There is a camp organized by Spark Minda at IIT Gandhinagar in India. So we are bringing 20 beneficiaries from Sri Lanka to there to fit prosthetics. This project was funded funded by Canada Fund for Local Initiative and Canada Sri Lanka Business Convention. So our goal of this project is to empower the people in northern and eastern province in Sri Lanka.
This initiative aims to provide prosthetic fittings for differently abled individuals, raise public awareness of the transformative power of prosthetic technology, celebrate the beneficiaries' renewed mobility, and inspire further collaborative efforts.
Imagine the joy on a child's face as they hold a book for the first time, flip it open and step into a world they've never seen before. For hundreds of children at Sri Gunananda School in Udugama, Galle, this was the moment that made their day.
The books donated through the Gamnadda Give a Book project launched at the Galle Literary Festival 2025 were officially handed over to the library at the Sri Gunananda School constructed by Gamnadda with funds from Vernon Udugampala, the founder of the Sylvia Lanka Foundation. The Gamnadda Give a Book project kicked off at the Galle Literary Festival last month, where visitors were encouraged to donate books of all kinds, novels, children's stories, poetry and more. The response was incredible, with donors from all over the world coming together to share the joy of reading. Today's handover was a special moment. Udugama Education Zone Deputy Director Sanat Mohoti attended the event along with members of the Galle Literary Festival team, including Zalia Zoheb and Kamudi Ranasinghe. Representatives from Newsfirst, Yes 101 and Gamnadda were also part of the event.
First of all, I just want to thank on behalf of the Galle Literary Festival, the Gamnadda team for partnering with us to bring the Give a Book project to life. It was really heartwarming and it was really nice to see the smiles on everyone's faces too when we were handing the books over.
GLF is very, very, very proud to partner with Gamnadda, and we're very proud that we were able to donate all these books to these wonderful students full of curiosity. I think we all know here how special Sri Lanka is. It's one of, if not the leading country in Asia in terms of reading, and we're just really happy that we can contribute to that. I think we have many, many bright minds here with us today, and we really hope that maybe in the next few years we can foster a bit more of that curiosity, understanding, tolerance and knowledge, and maybe, who knows, in GLF 2030 we can host a few of your beautiful students to come and teach us a few things.
මේ ජීවිත ජීවත් කරන්න අපේ ප්‍රදේශයේ ආදරණීය දුවා දරුවන්ට ලබා දීපු මේ පුස්තකාලය.
We are so thankful to Gamnadda for our library and now the significant amount of books. They've made a real difference in meeting our children's reading needs, and we truly appreciate their work in helping them become part of society.
ඉතාමත් වාසනාවන්ත සංවර්ධිත දරුවන් පිරිසක් සමාජයට දායාද කරන්නට ගම්මැද්ද කණ්ඩායම.
For many of us living in the city, libraries and books are easy to come by. These kids don't always have the chance to explore books the way many of us do, and now, thanks to the generosity of people who care, they have the chance to do just that. Through simple acts of kindness like this, we are reminded that sometimes the smallest gestures can make the biggest difference.
The official launch of Thomia, a detailed history of St. Thomas's College, took place yesterday.
The launch of Thomia, the entangled histories of Lanka and her greatest public school, was held last night in Colombo. A book signing session by the author Richard Simon also took place.
The much-anticipated 146th edition of the Battle of the Blues between Royal College Colombo and St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia kicks off tomorrow at the SSC grounds in Colombo. The excitement isn't limited to the cricket field, as Royal College added an extra spark to the build-up by hosting a vibrant bicycle rally today.
We leave you tonight with happy headlines. Good night.
The Battle of the Blues between Royal College Colombo and St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia is an iconic match in the school's big match calendar. The 146th Battle of the Blues begins tomorrow at the SSC grounds in Colombo. Ahead of the match, Royal College held a cycle parade today. Students from the school participated enthusiastically, filling the streets with energy and school spirit. The rally included several special features that made it a colorful and lively event.